Good Wednesday evening, South Carolina weather watchers. Hopefully, when it's had a fantastic Wednesday. I am your meteorologist, Joe Peterson, and let's go ahead and talk about the weather for your Wednesday evening going into your future. We have a good amount of stuff that we're going to be talking about tonight. Obviously, we have to continue talking about the dry conditions that are going on throughout the state. But as we move into that weekend, things will start to change. We're going to talk about that tonight. We're also going to talk about the flood risk that is about to impact us. And also, we're going to talk about our future and what these temperatures will do in the future, what the precipitation will do in the future through like the next 6 to 14 days or so. All of that we are going to talk about. But first, before we get to that, if you have not hit the like button or the subscribe button yet, make sure you're going to do so. We are at, obviously, the big 582 subscribers. We are 18 subscribers away from that halfway goal. 18 subscribers away from that main goal, not the halfway goal, but the main goal of 600 subscribers. We are getting so close to that goal. So I'm excited about that, but also another thing we should all be excited for, it's the middle of the week. Let's go and give a round of applause for that. Made it all the way to Wednesday evening, which means you only got Thursday and Friday to go. And we will be at our 3-day weekend for some of us. Hopefully for most. But 3-day weekend as Labor Day is on next week, Monday. But let's go on now and talk about the weather. So there is nothing going on throughout the entire state of South Carolina right now. And for the most part, it looks like that it will continue to stay like that. Not surprising or anything like that. We've expected that it probably won't rain inside of South Carolina for a good little bit, and we'll talk about when it will rain next, obviously, in just about 5 to 10 minutes. But look at what's going on throughout the entire U.S. We have rainfall going on in Florida, down into Arkansas, Louisiana, Texas getting some severe weather, as well as Colorado and Kansas. Rainfall also going on in Wisconsin, the UP of Michigan going into Michigan, Minnesota going into Washington, Oregon, California, Nevada, Idaho, and all the way up there into Montana and Wyoming. You have rainfall and downpour activity going on over there. If you go on and look at what's going on in terms of cloud cover right now is actually relatively light. You do have some up there in the upstate, you have some in the Midlands, and some possibly even inside of the PD/low country. But with that cloud cover, obviously comes that threat for some fog, and fog definitely will be possible as we move. Patchy fog, limited fog potential, light with light winds, dry air that minimizes the fog formation. Though patchy shallow fog is possible in the cooler, more inland areas, and so that's what we're looking at for tonight. If you go in and look at the cloud cover for our future, going to push this forward, you can see by the time we get to around tomorrow morning, that cloud cover for sure will most likely be widespread throughout the state. Not going to be too many clear patches as we go into tomorrow. Will there be clear patches? Absolutely. But for now, it's looking like that main sunshine, not too many cloud cover activity will probably change by the time we get into tomorrow. Current temperatures right now, 72 in Columbia as well as 73 in Orangeburg, 73 in Somerville, and 74 in Georgetown. 76 in Murrells Inlet as well as 76 in Myrtle Beach, 73 in Conway, and even 75 in Charleston and North Myrtle Beach. And Myrtle Beach also has 76. Move up here into the upstate, 68 in Spartanburg and Greenville, as well as 71 in Clemson, 69 in Anderson, 70 in Greenwood, 69 in York and Rock Hill, and then also down here around 73 in Aiken, being one of those areas in that low to mid 70 mark, like most of us are. Some of us, again, high 60s, mid 70s is what we're seeing mainly for right now. Low temperatures for tonight, 61 in Greenville, 60 in Spartanburg, as well as 61 in Anderson, 61 also in Greenwood, and even 63 in Aiken, 63 in Barnwell, 64 in Columbia and Orangeburg, and even 62 in Sumter, 62 in Florence, and 69 in Myrtle Beach, 67 in Georgetown, and 65 in Moncks Corner, 72 in Charleston, and 74 in Hilton Head Island. For your precipitation tonight, for now, no precipitation is expected over the next 24 hours or so, but the models, I have checked them out. I think they might beg to differ a little bit. We'll go on and check that out after we're done talking about the crazy score and severe weather, but they might beg to differ. But for the official forecast from the National Weather Service, it says no precipitation is expected over the next 24 hours. The crazy score for tonight, we're at a 7, even with the fog. I think the fog actually kind of raised it up a little bit, but again, it said it was very limited. It would be very like shallow fog in like the inland cooler areas, so it won't be much. But no significant weather. Light clouds obviously increasing to go throughout more of the state as it becomes a lot more widespread as we move into tomorrow. Now for the SPC outlook, starting off for tonight, obviously no thunderstorms are expected tonight. No thunderstorms are expected tonight. Tomorrow, you do have a little risk, but it's like right there along that coastal region right there. Right there just to the south of Hilton Head Island. You can see that there's a little light green area for the thunderstorm activity potentially to get going. Will it expand? Maybe. We'll check it out, tomorrow morning. But for now, that's what we're looking at for tomorrow. And then day 3, things start to get a lot more into the groove by that point. Friday, August the 29th, thunderstorms are possible from Berkeley County through all the way into the South Carolina, Georgia line, going all the way up into Aiken, and then all the way up into McCormick County, and then up maybe even all the way up there to a portion of the upstate, the southern western upstate. For excessive rainfall now, here's our look for our excessive rainfall. You can see that there is indeed no risk for any sort of excessive rainfall for tonight. That is obviously expected. Tomorrow, same thing. No excessive rainfall is expected for Thursday. Friday, though, that's when things start to change and start risk of flooding that I was just talking to you about. How we do, in fact, have a marginal risk of excessive rainfall. Isolated flash flooding goes in from Edgefield to Augusta, Aiken, all the way through, and kind of creates like almost a straight line of a risk. Goes from Manning, Kingstree, Myrtle Beach, Aiken, Edgefield, all the way south. So that's for the entire low country, the southern Midlands, and even places inside like Georgetown County, Williamsburg County, as well as included in there. And that again is for isolated flash flooding. If you are inside of this top white region right here, you have no risk for any sort of excessive rainfall. Now, for day 4, this is for the close to the entire state. This is for Saturday. This day 3 right here, this was for Friday. This is for Saturday right here. Takes over a lot more of the state for Saturday. Goes from Travelers Rest to Spartanburg down towards Rock Hill, Pageland, Chesterfield, Bennettville, and goes down again throughout all the Midlands, all the PD, Grand Strand, Low Country. Everyone has a shot for some isolated flash flooding. Only places not included, places like Landrum, Gaffney, York, those places. But they might, it's still 4 days out, so they can still adjust it. And then day 5 for Sunday. Sunday, everyone in the state has a shot for some isolated flash flooding on Sunday. So again, that's what the models, obviously the confidence says, because obviously it's pretty low confidence if it's only at 5%, but it can change and the confidence can get higher and we might see a higher risk. So let's go on now, look at the models. So I was talking about the models potentially disagreeing a little bit with obviously the forecast that was given out by the National Weather Service. And as you can see that there is like some little light activity going on throughout the state. Now, is that fog? Is that actually just a light drizzle going on? Obviously that is what honestly I think I'm trying to figure out as well. What you guys are trying to figure out, what I am as well. Will that be fog that's just going through that they're talking about? Because you can kind of look at it and kind of see it kind of go over some of the same areas a little bit. So that might, potentially be some fog, like heavy fog, or that might actually just be an isolated drizzle that goes through. Now, will that cause any sort of accumulations? Absolutely not. And at that point, I will say that this map right here really only talks about accumulation for the most part. So even if it does rain and you don't have any accumulation, it will not show up on this map at all. So I will say maybe this kind of like light shower activity that we were looking at might not cause any accumulation. That's what might be why it's not showing up on the map. As the high pressure, you can still see it up there inside of North Carolina, though. If you continue to push it forward even more, though, so we're going to push it forward. Now, for sure, definitely is some precipitation by around 4 to 5 p.m. Shower and potentially thunderstorm, potentially, maybe, or maybe just a heavy downpour going through the parts of the upstate. Goes all the way into around 7, 8, 9, but then clears out by around 9 p.m. But you're still seeing some isolated shower activity going on. Now, this is past the 24-hour mark by this point, and you can see for sure rainfall activity going on in the low country, but on early morning on Saturday, I believe. No, that's Friday. Excuse me, early morning on Friday. And then once that gets through, 2 p.m. gets along, and it's dry still. So early morning Friday, rainfall might move in, but once you get later into the morning and then into the afternoon, that dry area comes back into play again. So let's talk about even further into the future. As we push this forward, you can see that rainfall, for the most part, it's still staying active. It is still staying active, but I will say that it is not as widespread as we have been seeing. There is a little high pressure that kind of takes over a little bit. It's not that strong. It's not even showing up that much. But around like September the 1st, September the 2nd, this is the time that we are at. You're not seeing too much, and then you have a low pressure, and there goes the high pressure again on your screen. Will it keep the precipitation out? That's a good question. That is a good question. Will it keep the precipitation out, or will it allow for some of that moisture to get in? That's a question that we're going to have to wait on to see what happens, but obviously it is 300 plus hours out. So once we get to around September the 9th, we really can't go any further than that. But we can look at how active it is, and for the most part, it's looking like to continue to be just its normal activities as we move into meteorological fall, which is obviously September the 1st. And so for the most part, it's looking like that we might have potentially some more cold fronts maybe trying to move through in the future. I know last night it wasn't really looking too good if you like cold fronts, but for the most part, that looks like a pretty good cold front right there, moving in from the north right there. Around like September the 4th, maybe September the 5th, and it pushes through, brings in a lot of that cool air around September the 6th, the 7th-ish, but then that warm air seems to just come right back up right after. So will it last long? That's a good question. And speaking of, let's go on and talk about the temperature anomalies as well, because if you've not been paying attention, obviously, to how cool it is outside, obviously, we are inside a below average precipitation, precipitation technically, but temperature range, just as we move through this week. And then as you go into September the 2nd, going into September the 6th, it will be below average still. Now, will it be as below average as over there like you can see in the central U.S.? Absolutely not. Where they're already breaking low temperature records right now, especially in Missouri and Kansas. But for us, we will still be below average. It's possible. They have it set about like a 33 to around a 50, maybe 60% chance of being below average. The more towards the coast you go, seems like the less likely it will be. If you go to the next 8 to 14 days as well, you can see that, unfortunately, for the people who want the cool air, that warm air might be trying to come back as we get through September the 4th and September the 10th. And for the most part, that's for places like in the low country, but everyone else is about near normal. So here is the main thing that I want to look at. This is the actual models themselves, and it shows that it's going to be cooler than average again as we go through the next, September the 2nd, September the 3rd. That's what we've been looking at. But once we get to around September the 4th, that's when things start to get a little bit dicey. And then as you get towards September the 5th, that cold front moves in, but then that warm air kicks immediately back in by around September the 6th, 7th, 8th. But then the cold air seems to try to come back a little bit more. And so pretty much it's going to be back and forth between warm and cool air as we move into September. So I will say that will it for definite be cold as we move into September, or will it for definitely be warm? That's a question that we're going to have to ask as we go more into the future. But that's it for our for our actual temperatures and what they look like as we move through. We talked about how the dryness was going to continue, but kind of take a little bit of a halt as we get more moisture into this weekend from the flooding potential. And I believe that is all that I have to say in terms of the long-term future. So let's go on and talk about the tropics. The tropics, obviously, we have Fernand still out here, and honestly, Fernand's almost done. We're just waiting for it at this point. It should be done by around, let me see, because it will become a post-tropical cyclone at sometime tonight, probably. 11 o'clock p.m. might be its last update. Probably will be. So we'll see what happens there. But still tropical storm, still producing winds at 50 miles per hour, and that's going to head out of here and not cause anything to anybody. In the eastern Pacific, though, they got a lot of activity going on over here, though. They have 3 disturbances that they're looking at. One with a 10%, one with a 70% chance, and then one with a 30% chance. And then Tropical Storm Juliet's out here, but Juliet's not going to do anything either. So for the most part, in terms of active storms, we're pretty calm right now. And just in terms of development in general, we are looking pretty good as well. Now, does that mean tropical season or hurricane season is over? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We're not even in peak hurricane season yet, so we still have a lot of time to go still. And peak hurricane season is around, I believe, kind of like that mid-September mark. I believe like September the 10th going into like the 20th-ish. That's mid-season, somewhere in between there. So that's when we'll start to receive that more active activity. And it will continue to get active as the forecast that they put out for like the next 2 weeks or so shows some active activity going on inside of the Atlantic. So we're not done yet, and you still have to be on your guard for hurricane season. But that's it in terms of our forecast for at least the main forecast for South Carolina. Obviously, if we can still go back and cover anything else from any questions inside the chat for South Carolina, obviously, we will do that. But let's go on now and talk with the audience. If you want to be a part of the audience, you can, but you have to join us at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. You have to join us tonight or any other night, 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And that's the only way how you can go on and be a part of this. It's free. You just got to go on and hit the subscribe button and be like all these people that you can see inside the chat right now. But starting off, though, with Mr. Chris first, who says, good evening, everyone. Was a beautiful day here in Moncks Corner. Cool and comfortable. That is fantastic to hear. Thank you so much for that weather update. My Aunt Lula comes in and says, good evening, everyone. I pray everyone had a wonderful day. I did. Hopefully everyone else did as well. Good evening to you. Ms. Tolliver says, good evening. Nice day at my house. Would have liked to get more of a breeze, but oh well. The Canadian geese love this weather. I wish they would find another pond. Well, first off, good evening to you. Second off, in terms of just with the breeze for today, we were only going to be receiving gusts of 10 to 15 miles per hour. It wasn't going to be too much higher than that. So definitely not the highest, but definitely not stand still, if that makes sense. Mr. Kristen says, please remember to go and hit the like button and subscribe button to the channel. Also share with everyone. Helps someone get some vital information when needed. And that's for sure true. That is for sure true, because especially during these times when it's quiet, people let their guard down. People are like, okay, well, I guess the weather's not going to do anything for like the next 10 days or so, or something like that. And they just stop paying attention. So even during the quiet time, it's crucial that you still go on and give people their updates. Speaking of, since Mr. Chris says his daily message about going on to remember, let's go on and check out the numbers like we do. We have around 25 people tune in tonight, and we've only had 8 likes come in. I know. So far, 17 people came in and did not hit the like button. If you're a part of that 17 people that came in and did not hit the like button, make sure that you go on and do so. It's free. You can change your mind at any time. My nana says, "Evening, Jay, a very nice day. I got some sun. That's fantastic to hear. I actually do have a story, real quick, that actually is for you. So I actually did have I have a plant that's actually outside right now, and my nana, she has been keeping up with it, and it actually, I wasn't sure if it was gonna bloom or anything like that, but actually it ended up blooming a lot, like a lot of flowers right now. I gotta get a picture and I'll share it with y'all tomorrow. I mean, it's been thrown away accidentally. It's been out in the sun with like no water. I believe we were gone for like a week and it got no rain or anything or any water for like a week when it was like 100 degrees or so, but it survived. So, I just wanted to give you all that update and then also my nana that update because I did not talk to her about it in a couple of days at this point, but I did want to just say something about that. My cousin Cheryl then says, "Good evening, Weatherman. Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone had a good day today. Just checking in. So, Weatherman, keep up the good work. Love, Cheryl. Thank you so much for that. Good evening to you. And I did have a great day." Mr. Kristen says, "Made it halfway through the week. We did." Mr. Anthony comes back and says, "Good evening, everyone. Good evening to you." Terrell says, "Greetings, everyone. Lovely day here." That is fantastic to hear from you. Thad says, "Good evening, Joseph. I trust all is well. How was your day? It was beautiful here today." That is fantastic to hear, even though I know y'all definitely still do need the rainfall. But if it's a good day for you, I guess we can count that as a good day. And then my Aunt Shirley comes in and says hello to all. The weather in Raleigh was wonderful today, and tonight it feels good as well. Blessings to all. Thank you so much for that. And I believe that is all inside the chat for tonight. Make sure you go in and vote inside the poll as well. We have a couple of votes in. We have some difference in opinion, so we'll go on and talk about that. But first, before we get to that, let's talk about the 4 locations outside of South Carolina, that being San Antonio, Raleigh, Philadelphia, and Duncan, Oklahoma, which I believe all 4 is here tonight, potentially. I know should be. Yeah, all 4, I believe, are here tonight. So let's go on and talk about these 4 locations. Starting off first with San Antonio. With low temperatures tonight at 77, high temperatures tomorrow at 99, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 78. No precipitation is expected at all, as you move through tonight or tomorrow. So, a bit unfortunate, but hopefully you did get some rainfall while there was a chance of rainfall. I believe last night, and then I believe earlier today there was a chance as well. If you didn't get the rainfall, though, that is, again, like I said, very unfortunate. No severe weather is expected. And in terms of excessive rainfall, there actually is a chance for some minor flooding on Saturday and Sunday. It's possible, same thing like it is in South Carolina. Minor flooding or isolated flash flooding is possible. Now for Raleigh, low temperatures tonight at 59, high temperatures tomorrow at 83, and low temperatures tomorrow night at 60. No precipitation is expected at all. No severe weather is expected at all, and no excessive rainfall is expected. So no precipitation, no excessive rainfall, you're good. Philadelphia over here with a low of 57, high of 78, and then a low temperature of 63. No precipitation tonight, no severe weather is expected. And if we go on and talk about excessive rainfall, no excessive rainfall is expected either. So you are good over there as well. And then the final 4th location being Duncan, Oklahoma, with low temperatures tonight at 71. High temperatures tomorrow at 97 and low temperatures tomorrow night at 68. No precipitation tonight, but there is a chance of thunderstorms tomorrow and tomorrow night. And that does come with a chance for some excessive rainfall on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So some isolated flash flooding possible on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And if you go to severe weather, you do have a chance for some severe weather on Thursday, tomorrow. You do have a chance for some isolated damaging wind gusts of up to 60 miles per hour. And for the most part, it's low. Obviously because it's isolated, so it's going to be low. But still something that you have to watch out for. And that's it for the 4 locations. So what's going on in terms of the entire state? An area of thunderstorms and heavy rains may produce flash flooding in the central and southern plains, specifically southeast Kansas into the morning. Monsoon moisture will continue to produce areas of heavy rainfall, and the potential for flooding and debris flows across the northern Intermountain West, and heavy rain continues across portions of southwest and south central Alaska as their atmospheric river is getting going. Also, Some red flag warnings for some potential fire weather conditions go on up there for Washington down into Northern California. And other than that, that's all that I have. Beach hazard statements are out all the way from Wisconsin down and through Chicago, down through Indiana, up into Michigan as well. And I believe that is all for what's going on throughout the entire U.S. We do have a picture from Ms. Tolliver tonight. This was her picture right here from Ithaca, New York. Here it is right here. You can see she seems to be around some sort of like creek/river. And so this is a great picture. Thank you so much for sending this. If you want to go on and send me a picture like Ms. Tolliver here did, you can by going on and sending it at scweather360@gmail.com. Again, that is scweather360@gmail.com. And again, has to be weather related, obviously, but you can still send it. Let's go and give a round of applause to Ms. Tolliver real quick. So that's for the picture that you sent. So let's go on and end this off for tonight. Let me see. I don't see anything else to the chat. The poll. I said, are you enjoying this nice weather? 88% says yes. Well, 12% says no. They need the rainfall. So even though for most of us it's nice, obviously there still are a couple people out here that are not enjoying this weather right now because they want the rainfall. And so that's definitely valid. That is definitely a concern for a lot of areas. Top fans for tonight, Mr. Chris stays at the top, number 1, Trail is at number 2, and then my Aunt Shirley is at number 3. Congratulations to the 3 of y'all for being the top 3 fans for the night. I will be back tomorrow morning with your Thursday morning forecast update. Make sure that you are here tomorrow night because we will be talking about the drought monitor. Obviously, make sure your predictions are all ready. As we will be talking about the drought monitor, and also the end of the month's coming up. Fan of the month is coming up literally in about a couple of days. And not only that, but also the month of September forecast is coming up, and the fall 2025 forecast is also coming out as well. So a lot of stuff about to happen, especially next week. So on Sunday night and obviously Monday night as well. So make sure that you're there not only for tomorrow night, but also for Sunday night, Monday night, and hopefully you can be there for Saturday night. I don't know if I'll be here on Friday night. I probably won't be here on Friday night, so that probably will be a day that I won't unless something changes, but for now it seems to be like that will be the case. So I will be back again tomorrow morning with your Thursday morning forecast update. Everyone have a fantastic rest of your Wednesday.